everybody to another episode of Fraud Girl Friday. I'm your host, Danielle Spinelli. Happy 4th of July tomorrow. I am actually up in Minnesota, so I got a different background today because I'm sitting outside, beautiful weather here, and ready to go see fireworks and do all the fun things. But I wanted to make sure that we host a Fraud Girl Friday just to keep everybody ready for the holiday weekend, just since it is such a big weekend in fraud. So let's go through that. I wanted to point out something that CargoNet just posted. They're talking about 4th of July theft trends, giving some stats out there. So kind of just to give you an idea of what this holiday really does. Honestly, most of the fraud that I dealt with as a rep was during the 4th of July. So it's kind of the hottest item, I would say. I think because a lot of people are taking off for the 4th, as you know, it's a lot of freight's moving, as produce is happening, food and beverage is a big thing. So I wanted to touch this on this year, but the last 5 years is what they're showing. So during the 4th of July, and this is between the 1st and the 7th of July, was really the big target window. So 184 cargo thefts, and that's just reported just to CargoNet. So there's, I'm sure, a lot more. Heavy areas, California, of course, Texas, of course, and then Illinois are the top three. Have any freight moving in there, definitely stay super vigilant on that, especially if they're moving across country. And they're mainly hitting warehouses and truck stops. The biggest thing with the truck stop is that a lot of people leave their trucks there unattended. They're going home, they're watching fireworks, whatever they're doing over this weekend. So you're wanting to make sure to have a conversation with your drivers, and we'll jump into that as to where exactly they're parking, making sure they're in a secure lot. Luckily, there's some great services out there that do the parking clubs as well, so that you can like park and have a secure lot, things like that. Top commodities that are targeted are food and beverage, household goods, electronics. We kind of all know that. But over $7.5 million just over this holiday weekend. So it's a big deal. I wanted to bring that up just because there's so many, of course, different holidays. All of them are important, but because this one falls on a Friday, it's a big one. So staffing is lighter. Like I said, a lot of people take off for the 4th. It's such a great week. I think this week I actually took off as well. Like I said, I'm traveling. So a lot of people take off this week. Loads still do need to be moved. It's produce season. People are eating. People are doing all the things. So especially food and beverage, a lot of freight moving still. So just because there's a holiday, it's really not stopping. The deliveries are getting pushed out, but the products are still moving. And then scammers, of course, they know about all this. They know that it's more vulnerable weekend, so they just really dig in on this time. So some top big things to look into. Now I went over the high value, high risk freight and what you should do differently. We'll go through a full vetting process series as well. But kind of on top of that, I wanted to go over like you have your loads on the road. What do you do from here, right? Huge, especially over the holiday weekends, to track the driver and then also track the ELD and the truck. So knowing exactly where the driver is, the truck is, and if you have a great shipper, hopefully having something inside the trailer there to track those pallets as well, especially on a holiday weekend. It's worth the extra money to get that put in there. So that's very big there. Now, as you're on call, let's say this weekend, having a conversation with drivers ahead of time. So like today, talking to them, be like, hey, I'm going to be calling you a certain amount of times during the day. Please have your phone on you. I know this is annoying. It's hard for me too. I'm having to step away. So let's do this together. And just a quick phone call, make sure things are safe and move on from there. Also having the conversation with the driver, hey, where are you heading at? Seeing if they're going home. If they are going home, where are you leaving your truck at? If it is just at a truck stop, really discourage that. But if it is at a truck stop, making sure that somebody is there with it at all times, or they're checking in on it very frequently. If it's high value freight, though, it needs to be in a secure lot. Really, the driver needs to stay with it. Sorry about your luck, bud, but shouldn't have picked up a high value load over the weekend. So yeah, that's kind of the biggest thing there, having that conversation with the driver, making sure that they know. Also having after hours numbers and then calling those after hours numbers to verify they're legit prior to everything. Another thing to do with the driver's phone number is to look up their phone number. I think it's like phonelookup.com. Search that phone number. It'll tell you whether or not it's a VoIP number or if it's, AT&T, Verizon, whatever the cell provider. So you'll be able to know exactly what type of phone it is, which is key too, because you don't want to be tracking a VoIP number. Now, Certain platforms for tracking do alert you on that as well, but I like to know ahead of time. It just takes a simple search, very easy. So knowing exactly who you're working with driver wise. So right now, a big thing to also look for is, I know the 60-day FMCSA changes is a big thing with most platforms out there, but going a step beyond that, especially over the holiday weekend, and making sure that there's not been any type of change within a year. So kind of clear out those filters, look up and make sure there's no changes, because a lot of times they're buying these MCs and sitting on them. It could be for up to a year. So you want to know that in advance. Now, with those tracking sessions, if you do see somebody parked for a long time, calling the driver, hey, seeing it, you're parked. Is this where you'll be stopping at? Are you leaving the truck unattended? Having those type of alerts, and you can, some of the platforms for tracking, you can actually set up an alerts key over this weekend that if the truck does like stop moving over, let's say like 2 hours or something, that you get an alert, hey, just confirming you're still with the truck. Awesome. We're good to go. Let me know when you start moving again. If they are parking somewhere suspicious or weird, making sure that they're staying with the truck. Really, you want to push, hey, you have high value. You need to go in a secure lot. You need to be backed up against the wall. I know I talked about that in the last one as well, but really informing your drivers, because sometimes they just don't know the risk that they're taking whenever they pick up a load. So pre-prepping them as well. Now, if you are on call this weekend and you're having to do that, like I said, keep an eye out for those tracking sessions. Also, trust your instincts, right? If it feels off, it probably is off. So if they're giving too much information, too little details, something like that, something seems weird, it probably is. A big thing too with that on trusting your instincts is if the driver, they say that they broke down over the holiday, a lot of times they're buying even additional time to really get it out there and have you not look at the load. Now, to me, I think it brings more suspicion to it, but making sure that if they do fake a breakdown or say that they broke down, verify who they're getting the repair done for, calling the phone number, Googling that entity, making sure it's a legit thing, not just you're calling their cousin or whatever and they're lying for them. Kind of do your extra homework on if they are broken down, what's going on. I've even had people FaceTime me. Hey, I need you to FaceTime me and show me that you're broken down. Like, I need you to know you're with your truck. Drivers have smartphones too. So a lot of times they'll do that for you. And if they don't, that's very suspicious. So keep a lookout there for that. Other tip here is double checking paperwork. So as they're getting loaded, confirming with shippers, like I said, most of them are going to be closed over the weekend and stuff. So confirming with them that this is the amount of freight that will be moved and was actually loaded. That way, whenever they're making it to receivers, you'll know that the count is correct. And hopefully they're doing their part on looking at the actual trailers and the drivers and, kind of going from there. All right. Don't want to keep you too long. 4th of July, let's all have fun this weekend. Be safe. Stay vigilant. If something does happen and you're in California, reach out to my California Highway Patrol guys. They're great. They'll help you out. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week. Bye.